Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Titan9, and we are going to be talking about some starter decks over the next couple of videos because we have the starter release events happening, and I've seen online and have been asked with people questioning what's the best deck. I see this all the time. What's the one we go with? And I'm going to do a bit of a spoiler and say, doesn't matter. I'm going to rip that Band-Aid off right now. They're all workable decks. You know, even if one is perhaps a little better than the other, the differences are sort of small. And the stakes of these events are pretty low. A lot of people are going to be playing for the first time, and they kind of want to get to know the format. We're not talking about a Magnus Carlsen, Hideki Nakamura chess championship type matchup here, right? These are not the opponents you're going to have. Even if you were playing against one of the top players currently, you with the best deck against them with the quote-unquote worst deck probably won't make all that much of a difference. And since this is randomly distributed anyway, it's actually a good news. You have a chance to win with any deck that you are given. So instead of some other people are already put out videos about sort of which one's the best, which one's the strongest, I decided you don't know what you're going to get, so I think it would be best to make videos about how to play each deck. How should you approach their matchups, and what things should you be considering based on what is in the deck. And this little introduction will be in all the videos, so feel free to skip it in the future videos to just go right to the meat of it, but it just applies to every deck, and I just wanted people to stop worrying, trying to figure out what the best deck and how to gain these very minor percentage points, because at the end of the day, Gundam is still a pretty inconsistent game. These decks are not sort of built to hyper extremes of quality. They're good decks, but they're not meant to be extremely efficient. The cards don't always even work super well together. So everybody's kind of working on the same page of these imperfect decks, and it's really the event's about having fun. But if you do want to try to win the bonus promos, then I'm going to teach you how to approach each deck, and we're going to sort of play one deck against the other three, and that's what we will be doing for each video. All right, welcome back to part 2 of the starter deck release event Gauntlet. We're doing Wings of Advance. This one's got a lot of chatter about it. This one, some people view as the best deck. I think it has some trouble from Heroic Beginnings, I've heard someone mention that they've played this deck 1,000 times against X starter deck, and they've never lost any of those times. I find this highly suspect because the statistics do not bear that out. These decks are not perfect. They do have fail rates. Sometimes you keep a hand with a couple units and some pilots, and you just continue to draw pilots. Sometimes your opponent has the nut draw, and you just can't keep up with it. So I find the claims to be dubious, and there's no need for such hyperbole. This deck pretty good? Yeah, there's a lot I like about it, right? It's got a lot of blockers. It's got 3 of these, and it's got some Ares, but the Heroic Beginnings have some good blockers too. And the Zawart, I think, is a little better than the Ares. It isn't as aggressive, but that deck doesn't want to be aggressive, so that's not a problem. The other things I like Bird Mode to help ramp, and it plays really well with Hero. It's sneaky good with Hero, turns it into a 5/4, and that's quite a beast. The Gundam Samurock's not exciting. This is good for clearing out some units, but its best effect is usually just against the Zeon deck, so I don't overrate that much, but I do love some Tall Geese. This is a great finisher. You're not going to have like a ton of cards left in your hand at the end, and you're going to want to use your resources effectively. Here it is. And if you're lucky, you also have Zex to pair with it, because you get to draw a card when you destroy something. I love drawing cards. This also will pair with the Leo, and you'll still get a 4/3 unit, which is nice, and you can clear out some of the smaller early game units. You can attack with it on turn 3. Start drawing cards there, too. Wing Gundam, obviously, pretty great card. One-shots all the bases in the starter decks. Not a problem there. This is good. This base in particular I super duper love. Get extra tokens, kind of hit the ground running. This one's pretty nice too to find the cards you need at the time. You don't get to draw them, but the searching is at least pretty nice. Siege Ploy's okay. It works well with your breach unit, which you don't have a lot of actually. You can turn something into a breach unit with our Troa, but otherwise not the best. I don't think this is the best at home here. It's not a card I'm super excited to be seeing sometimes, but it can help you get through blockers if that's something you're running into. Peaceful Timber can come up because you are going to be later. You're going to need to go later into the game, and this can buy you some time. Though, ideally, you get to use it as a pilot more. It being a 1/1 is actually pretty nice to pair with the Sandrock. So this is a pretty nice deck. I do like it. I would be excited to get to play with this deck because I love Zex, drawing cards. I love attacking twice. I can go get a base, and then I could go sacrifice it to clear a unit and draw a new card. Or if I'm lucky, I can just ping out 2 units that way as well. There are just so many things you can do when you get this in the late game. It doesn't mean it's a god tier deck. Doesn't mean it's unbeatable. I was able to beat it with Heroic Beginnings, sort of convincingly. Obviously, the AI isn't as good as a normal player on average, but a lot of your opponents also aren't going to be top of the game either. So again, keep that in mind. But we're going to just begin with that rematch with Heroic Beginnings. So let's come over here, select player 2. I know Wing Table's not everybody's favorite, but I do have the Patreon, so I do have a little bit of a better AI, and it's good for the purpose of these videos. I'm not showing you which is better. The opponent will not play as well as I do because they are a not perfect AI, but it will be good to help showcase how you should be playing your wing deck. Play random. We are going first. This hand I don't love. I don't love having 2 bases. Maybe if I was against the Zeon deck, it would be helpful there because they are going to get a quicker start than I am. This, I could play this on turn 2. I don't get to take full advantage of this. I think there are just better hands. I think I want to kind of get more things down. I want to have more options. I want to have more units. If I draw more bases, that'll feel bad. If I draw more pilots, that won't be the best, though Hero could be nice with this on turn 4. I just don't love my curve, too. Like, since they are the better control deck, I do want to get out faster on board than them. And maybe if I was going second, I could wait till turn 2, play this, burn the EX resource on this, get rid of that base that turn. That could be a neat start. I will take a mulligan because we are going first. This is the hand we have. We have to live with it. We have both of our LRs and the hero to go with it, so we just got to find a way to last a long time. We actually have another LR. We have a really good late game. Hopefully they don't set up enough of a defensive pressure to minimize the contributions these things can make. But it is an okay hand so far. If we get a wing bird mode somewhere or 2 in there, that would be nice. Kind of early-ish, middle-ish turns to do to really get this guy out on time. I will... The Tragos doesn't help me here. I could use that next turn anyway. I think I will play my own... Well, if I draw the Zex, though. But I think I would want to save the Zex for this. I could start going after their base. Zex needs to be linked to have the card draw effect. So that is something to factor in, too. I suppose I will play this Ares. And... go on. I know this is exactly the opposite of what I want to do, but with them having that excess resource... My Ares can attack too, you need to remember. I will not block the base. So that's one of the nice things, like I could still get 2 damage on there over there. I just had options in case they played something annoying on their turn. Alright, I do have bird mode here. I don't think I'll go after the base, because they'll just kill it with this. I will block this one, though, and trade off there. And I will bird mode so I can get to my late game stuff better. If I didn't have this combo right here, I probably would have done my Leo and the Tragos and get that board presence. But since they're kind of having a pretty good, not aggro start, but they're getting bodies on the ground, I want to be able to get to this as quickly as possible and start clearing that board. So we will wait. We are going to play the defensive role here. It's not my favorite to do with this deck, but it's just the way the game's turned out. Uh-oh. This is bad news, Bears. See, but like, look, this was a good time to use a pilot. It didn't need to be a link unit. Like, I don't hate this idea. It isn't aggressive. They have recognized themselves as the aggro player here. But our blocker now can take them out next turn, as long as they don't tap them down again. I could finish it off with the wing if I wanted to. If I draw another hero, no, I think... if If I didn't have these wing Gundams, I think I would seriously consider putting the hero on the wing and start taking these things out. Because it would clear both of these. I would probably attack this one, and because I would definitely survive, and they might want to trade over here. We have this in case we draw some excess X's. I could actually just play 2 of them now, but I think I want this Tragos. And I will get to play my hero next turn. But I guess I don't want to block this turn, because I want to have this to defend my hero Yui on the crackback. Alright, we will play the 2 Leos. Sort of let them come at our bases before we stabilize. That's not the end of the world. The hero deck, the Heroic Beginnings deck, which is a control deck, didn't end up in that position just because of the way the games turned out, but if you're a controlling deck or in the control role, it's not the end of the world if you lose a couple shields in the process, and it might even get you more pilots or some bases in there too, so that'd be a form of card advantage. I will attack my wing into the GM. They're all 2/2s basically. Uh-oh. Oh! I've been got! I got! I sort of needed that to go slightly different, but I can clear up these gentlemen can attack. I will have my Tragos. Hopefully we get some good cards in here. No. All duds there. Not great, but also not cards like we super wanted in this stage of the game anyway. Maybe the wing would be nice. Uh-oh. Well, getting rid of the Zawart won't be the end of the world. Our hero would have been really great. Let's see if they want to trade with one of my little dudes first. No, he didn't want to do that. They didn't want to block with the Zawart there. I am now going to attack here. It doesn't really matter. Attack here. They didn't want to block there either. Interesting. Wonder what they're trying to save that for. Okay, we are getting them to the end of their cards. They haven't found some of their card draw stuff. They haven't found their white base, though I worry that could be in their hand, since they weren't afraid of letting their base go down. And we will play this, because we'll be able to play whatever we want next turn anyway. And I don't want to make this one vulnerable. I want to keep this to finish off something, or to go after shields if that time comes. We will block here. Maybe we should have waited to see what they were going to play for turn. Oh, interesting. They would... I guess once they couldn't finish it off with both of these attacks, they decided to go after my shields, which would be pretty good for them. They're going to heal that? It wasn't ideal, because this couldn't finish it off anyway, and I don't know why I did that. Okay, this is good, and we'll get a unit out of it. We don't get, and we could still play this. And if this gives us a Zex, then we can also play, no, we can't. We can't play this. I can only take out one of these units. This one can't attack. They can't rush. Let's attack first and see what they flip. Okay, we will have no shields. But then I won't lose a card to the base. But I don't gain a card from the base either. But I can play both of these. I'm going to play this one first because I'm more likely to draw a Zex than a hero. Because we've already used one of them. So, alright, we will play more units to try to finish off these people. It's interesting it doesn't want to block with this. And then they can't rush us. If we try to attack a shield, it might give them a pilot, and then they could pair that with a unit that they draw. So we're going to play this really close to the wire. Hey, look at this! A little unfortunate. But it'll be nice to have this also as a 7/7. Or if we draw a wing bird mode next turn, we get to draw one of those. That'll be nice. We'll play this one. And they've got a demi-trainer, which shouldn't change too much. Oh, that's interesting. I find that very interesting. Okay, not ideal. So C to play the Corsica base. The Demi-Trainer actually causes us a lot of trouble, because I could sort of clear off the board. I'm going to get rid of that Demi-Trainer first and sacrifice these two. Oh, interesting, interesting, interesting. If it trades here, I don't have a problem with that. It actually might be some good bait. If they draw a Soletta, this could clear out the base. I'm debating right now, do I want to go in with these two and try to race to the finish line over here? Do I want... Because I can't... I think I need another unit. I can't play both of these to protect this one. None of their units have rush, so I don't have to worry about that. If they draw a pilot, they can clear out the base, but then I'll get rid of both of their units. But they don't have to choose to block with this unit. I'm going to try to bait them to block with this. I think that's necessary. If I go here and block, I guess this one doesn't die, so I think that's okay then. Yeah, okay. We're still going to go with that plan. We're in it now. They don't want to block with their blockers. I'm a little surprised by that from the AI, but that's a good case scenario for me. We're going to play a Tall Geese. We might have weathered the storm here. We had to go all the way to the very end, get a couple of lucky draws. And that doesn't... Oh, they're going to finish off my wing now. But they don't have any units anyway. Oh, okay. I guess they're going to wait for me to finish off the wing? Very bizarre behavior. Very bizarre. This doesn't really... I could pair this with my wing, with my hero, but this effect doesn't super matter at the moment based on how the board is. So we will attack. See if they want to block. There we go. And now it's Tall Geese Tribal. Oh, sorry, Tall Geese. I forget what magic changed it to. Kindred. Tall Geese Kindred. Gonna attack. And then you know what I'm gonna do? Gonna attack again. This is why I love Tall Geese. Play another Tall Geese. They could have a rush unit, but the best that rush unit could do, that link unit could do, is clear my base. And we will definitely have them dead next turn. They didn't even draw something that they needed. Let us attack. We'll let the token... Oh, no. Okay, we'll let this one go first. Both of my Tall Geese could attack twice. That was not really relevant to this time. But that's an advantage of chipping away at bases in case they do that. And we'll let the token go in for the kill. They had the Suletta, so they could have drawn the LR Aerial. Yeah, but not either way, they would have only been able to clear the base. So, again, I want to emphasize that I did draw all 4 of my LR units. I drew all 4. Did they draw any? Am I allowed to look at the graveyard? They drew one of their... This actually, I think, was in the shields. So they drew none of theirs. And it still was this close. So don't think that wing deck is unbeatable. It can happen. We were able to dig ourselves out of it. But it was very tricky to do. And again, lucky draws had to happen. Which is... I also want to emphasize that came after a series of unlucky draws, too. So... a little tit for tat there, but just keep that in mind. Did we win this? Sure, but we had to draw 4 LRs to do it. So keep that in mind. We'll go to the next game. All right, we are back. We are going first again. I do like this hand against Zeon. We have a blocker, and we're gonna have some early counter aggression against them, and this trades off pretty well against their 1/2s. But I also don't mind trading into their other units as well, and then we can kind of ramp into this, and we have one of our LRs. Hopefully we find a Zex along the way. We will not mulligan. And we're going first, so we have a turn 1 play. I like playing this on turn 2. If they get off to a slow start, because it does happen in that deck, we can start to go into the aggro mode ourselves and get them on the back foot. That's not a deck that's good at playing from behind, the Zeon Rush deck. Here we are. We drew the opposite pilot that we need, but we could turn this into a 5-4 and have ourselves a mighty force. And we could even do it on turn 3 if we wanted to. Yeah, so like a bit of a slower start here. So probably we'll get to attack their base next turn. We had to turn into the control deck in the previous game against the control deck, and we might get to be the aggro deck here against the aggro deck. Every deck can do this. The Zeon Rush has a harder time being the control deck, though it does have that deal 2 damage to stuff. Do I want to block here? No, I'll wait for something more threatening to happen. I am going to attack their base. I'm not scared by this. Oh, yeah! So now I might not want to play this on turn 3, because we hadn't played this on turn 4. Would be a lot more fun. So I think we will, and I'll keep my blocker there to protect them for the crackback, and we'll kind of go to town there. We will end the turn. Our wing already can trade pretty well into all of their units. I imagine they might want to clear this one out. No, okay. A little confusing, and they didn't even want to pump it up so they could take this out. They wanted to finish off the base. So they're sticking to their aggro guns. We are not going to block here, because I want to protect my Tallgeese. I will trade my Magwanac into this, since this one's already close to death anyway. Tallgeese will be able to take that one out. I will trade my wing into this one. It doesn't matter. That doesn't change anything. Bad use of a pilot. The AI getting a little confused. With the things we know we're doing first. Trade here. And trade here. Board's gone. On level 4, they could do Angelo and a couple of the Neo, his particular mobile suit, or the Gira Zulu, I think, is Neo Zeon in general, so we could get rushed that way, but we have the blocker, and that would take all of their resources. Let's play the card. Sadly, if they didn't have that base, I would have finished off a unit with this one, because I would want to draw the card. But I want to get rid of this base in one hit, and this is the way to do it. Our 6/5 goes in, cleans up, and a blocker's back, and if they get rid of this one, I will have a blocker here as well. Though likely I might try to use this to finish off a unit, get some cards. Do they have the Rambaral? They do. I did forget about this being a rush unit, but we have the blocker again, not worried. Blocker is here. I will attack this token, I think, to keep maximizes the HP. That might be greedy, though. I'm going to draw a card, is the name of the game. Because this is going to trade with that anyway, and this won't trade with this. It's not the most fun. Let's play this base. Figure out what we want to do after that. We'll still be able to play this or this. We get a token for next time. We're going to get to do this next turn. That's exciting. Alright, I will attack the blue giant here. If this wants to attack, it's not going to be able to kill it, and I'm going to have a blocker anyway. I'm drawing a card. I am playing a blocker. And hopefully they have a unit I can kill with my wing and just start going to town. Alright, do they have the char here? No. Oh, no! Well, they're not going to be able to kill my Tallgeese anyway, so it's not a huge deal. The wing is going to clear this up when it kills off the Zaku. I'm going to let him sort of search for a card. Ooh, another one. I wish it could link with... Oh, this is actually an interesting idea. I can't attack with this one anyway. Alright, I'll save this. We want to play wing. We want to play hero. So if I was in the mirror match, I wouldn't want to play this up front because they have that siege ploy, and it throws off combat. So you don't want them to be able to target this during a previous combat's action phase. We are going to attack the Zaku. Draw a card. Love drawing cards. There's our card. All right, so we could pair this next turn too. We are going to finish off the Zaku real quick. I have some vulnerable big pieces, but this has cleared a base, gotten rid of some units, drawn me some cards, so if this one dies, I got what I needed out of it. This one might die this turn too, but only one of them is going to die. Don't have to worry about one of the two red LRs, so that's kind of nice. And then we've also gotten rid of one of his green LR, one of their green LRs, excuse me. I will not play this. We will just let this resource burn. They have a lot of cards there, so which is odd for me, because a lot of their units are very cheap, so they should really just be, like, farting them out. Okay, does he have the Angelo? Do they have the Angelo? No, but this is the flooding the board. So they had the two full frontals that... Why did they do that? Why did they do that? They could have swapped this and attacked and killed one of my units. Poor AI. But they are sitting on 3 pilots, their aggro hand. So even the aggro deck can draw the wrong part of its deck. Like, don't let which deck's best get in your head. All right, what do I want to kill with my wing? This is the only one that's not going to kill it. So let's go do that. And then we can actually finish the game, depending on what this last card is, but I don't think it's anything that can stop us because our tall geese can attack twice. So let's go. Attack here. If it's a base, no, that doesn't change anything either. Yeah, because they're losing that card. And the first attack's going to get rid of this base. That was actually the best time. If it was the last card, we wouldn't be able to win this turn. Oh, no, because this would be able to rush out too. We just had it. We were ready to go. All right, let's set it as active, and let's finish the game off with my pal Tallgeese. Yeah, so did that go to their hand from the shield? I think it might have. I don't know which side the cards go to. They had one left over, so they could have played this, though. So this must have been in their hand. Yeah, some questionable choices they made on that turn. Questionable choices. But, you got to see basically how this could work. And I think a lot of people talk about how great this deck is because the LRs are really good, because your pilots have 6 things they can link to, and your pilots are just generically aggressive and good on their own. It does have a form of card draw, thanks to Zex. It's specific, but it is there. St. Gabriel Institute lets you look. There's a lot to like about the deck. It ramps. It's a lot to like, but not perfect, not flawless. You can still do very well at your event if you don't get this deck. 1 deck left to go. We are back against the Siege Strike deck. We are going to get the extra resource this time. That I think we keep this hand because of the extra resource. Hero into bird mode can be pretty good. They're a mid-rangey kind of deck, so we don't have to be the most fast. That extra resource could help get this out early if we do want to hold this off for a little bit. This is like the last in the Heroic Beginnings video. I kept a hand that was like a maybe, and it caused me some trouble, but let's do it. Let's go for it. I don't hate this hand. We have some pilots if we draw something better. No mulligan. All right, they're going to go first, and they should have... Oh, I forgot they have this thing. All the decks have a 1/1 blocker, except for red-green. They don't have any blockers, as best that I am aware of. Okay, now we have a bit of a curve. I feel a lot better that we've drawn this card. It also could be useful if we draw a Zex next turn, but I think I might still keep this so I can play my Sandrock a little earlier. We'll see what we draw next. So this one's going to come and clear our base unless I block with this, which I don't know if that's what I want to do. This is going to be good, because they have a fair number of units here. It will finish it off if I do choose to block here. We're going to play the Leo now and see if we can speed run through these. I'll get to play this next turn and then go here. We will block off with the Tragos because of this effect. Yeah, we're going to be able to, like, do a fair amount of damage. This one's just going to die outright. Maybe I'll block with this. Oh, I can't block with that. Because this isn't magic. All right. We will use the blocker here. Buy us some time. They're getting off to an aggressive start. We have a good way to sort of mop it up, though. Or maybe I'll play this one, just to have extra resources should I need them. There's not too big of a difference here. This one can trade just as well as this one, but with less waste. We're gonna get some boo-boos this round, though. But next turn, we're gonna have a nice mop-up. Right, because if I use this pair up to kill this one, all these other three are going to die. And we'll just sort of wipe the board right then. They're probably going to play another unit, so it won't be like a total wipe, but perhaps one of these can take care of them. We've lost one LR. We lost a bird mode. Yeah, this is that LR I was talking about in the Heroic Beginnings video. This will hurt our thing. So that is the bad news. But at least we'll have taken out 4 units, and we'll be able to get this one on the crackback. They might block with this, which is a little annoying. But if that's the way it is, one of these will just have to trade. Might. They would definitely block if they were a person player, just to put that out there. Oh no, AI! You're gonna lose this one anyway, AI. Alright, well, if that's how they feel about it. We're gonna clear off this base. They're gonna attack one of these. That's just the way it is. I'm gonna play out this Sandrock. No. I'm gonna play out one of these units. I think it will be a Leo. Just to make up for one of these units I'm gonna lose. I'm definitely losing this one as well, so... They might want to go aggro. No, they do not. This one will kill my... Oh, it's not level 5, it's AP... No, this one needs AP 5, and then it could do it. Great. Great for me. Uh-oh. Atherin? No. Phew. So, I wouldn't probably want to put Hero on this anyway. I could put Hero on this, though, and take out that base in one shot, which I don't hate. And I have an odd number here anyway. If I draw regular Gundam Wing next turn, I'll be a little annoyed, but I only have one left in the deck anyway, so those odds are fairly low, and I shouldn't play around that. Alright, we'll let this one go to their death. We will go finish off this base. I think I have more Zeks than I do Catras. Catra I might need to actually keep in case they have a pretty aggressive turn next turn. This can only kill that unless they pilot it with something. But I'm definitely getting breached next turn. I think they're at the later turns. It might be better to have the stronger attack power on there. So let's just not get too cute. Let's play with these. And try to go for some of these bases. And then if we need a pilot to do 5 damage directly, we have more most of our pilots should get us to 5 with the units we have on the field. Wouldn't be the case with our Leo. The AI, it is on a particularly bad showcase right now. I apologize for that. But again, we're just seeing kind of how to approach this matchup based on what the hand is dealt. We were able to use our heavy arms to sort of blow up the field, which was a nice benefit. We are going to play this base to see what card we draw, and to see what card is coming up. Control our turn, our destiny that way. Zex, well, that means we definitely want our Talgies. The other Zex was a consideration, because we could pair with that and draw a card immediately. But I think it'll be good to just try to finish off the game. Because they have all these units. We're going to be able to clear off of these things. If they have a pilot, they could clear this, and then we're dead. So that's something to consider, too. And the breaching, they might actually do breaching. Okay, so... then if this kills that, it will only deal 1 damage to that, but that doesn't seem terrible to me. Alright, we'll definitely attack with these, because they're not doing much else. Just sort of make our way through there. We know what cards are coming. Our cards are going to be better than theirs. Uh-oh. I'm definitely glad we're... Oh, we could still die. This blocker here. Okay, I'm going to try to go for this. See if they bite on it. Okay. Oh, we are going to get one on that. That's pretty nice. We are going to go here. They might block with this, but our Wing Zero won't die, and it gets rid of a threat. So now, even with a pilot, they shouldn't be able to... Well, no. If this is a +2... We could still die. We could still die on this very turn. But there's nothing we can do about that. I'm going to play this now. And we hopefully can mop up next turn, depending on what their card draw. Another reason not to try to whittle down their bases, because that just gives them more chances to draw the 2-card combination they need to kill us off. But they are choosing to go defensive here, which is nice. They don't have a pilot to one-shot that, so that's nice for us too. Okay, we are at the mercy of the shield gods. If they don't have a blocker, we are in good shape. So they did have the Atherin. So there was a world where they could get any of their Atherin link units or their coordinator link units and finish us off that way. But we're going to try to finish them off with this Talgis. So let us go after here first. But I think we're in good shape even if we flip a base. It does seem that way. Let's go here. And since this has been the theme for this video, let's finish them off with the Talgis. Okay, so we've weathered that storm pretty well. The hand did pay off. It sort of developed exactly the way I would have hoped. There was a reasonable chance that it was going to do that. You just put yourself at a disadvantage if you keep some kind of clunky hand sometimes. It's the best of one nature of the game. And then you only get the one mulligan and you're sort of stuck with it. So there is a lot of randomization in this game. Don't forget that. You lose over 10% of your deck's cards in your shield area. You could lose all 4 of your LR cards to the shield area. And so don't just... The redundancy of a streamlined deck isn't here. So even if a deck's better, don't let it bog you down. They can have their bad hands. You could have your good hands. You could be on the good deck and have your bad hand. The deck is good. I like it. It's fun. I love playing with Talgis. I love drawing cards. Gundam Wing was the first Gundam I watched because I'm of that generation. So I do have an affinity for this deck, but again, that Heroic Beginnings matchup was razor thin, and I had to be extremely lucky and draw extremely well to survive. So keep that in mind, everybody. All right, but I'll see you for the next video. Thanks for watching.